Thank you, Gary. Sorry, I always have to collect myself. It's good to be together, is it not? To share a common meal, to break bread, and to enter into an abundant story. As a dad of two girls, I've become, there's nothing I want more that these two girls grow up to have the good life, right? The abundant life. A life freed through intimacy with Christ and freely lived out in service to God and others. But as I've grown up and as I've hung out with young people for a couple decades now, I've come to understand painfully, I can't give that to them. As parents and as grandparents, we can't hand the life we want for them to our children. They must take ownership of that kind of life, and they must want it for themselves. It seems that today there's a great deal of confusion on what makes a good life. As a society, we no longer agree on what we believe is true or good or beautiful. But yet I find in almost every person I meet a desire for abundance, to have meaning and joy and purpose and transcendence. And yet there's still confusion. What is it? How do I attain it? How will I know if I get there? If you think you feel this way, imagine your children. Our children are being told the good life, the abundant life, is one of their own design. Our culture says, make for yourself meaning. Make for yourself purpose. Make for yourself identity. I wish I could ask our culture, have you met a 14-year-old? Now, joking aside, and it's important to know, I think highly of our students and their abilities and capabilities. But I also believe this, that the good life, the abundant life, it has to be taught to us. Young people are not going to stumble into abundance. They must be invited in. Invited by men and women who have an abundant vision for their lives. They are taught through engaging ideas and enduring questions in our created world, and then they must take a hold of this life and put it into practice. The pursuit of the abundant life is at the heart of a Pacifica education. We believe high school is about the renewal of the mind and the heart, reminding them that they are made in the very image of God. I say this to them every time I see them. There is no one like you. You are unique and set apart, the only one. And then we seek to free them from the disillusionment and the shame that they so often feel through the mercy, the abundant mercy of Christ. And then we remind them they have been called. Every young person has a calling. It is this: to take everything that is true of them, everything that is good about them, all that they are, everything that they have, and then to put that into action to make things new and good in the marketplace, in the home, in the church, and in the wider world. We can't give this to them. I wish that we could. But through Pacifica, sorry, it's early. It's like a wedding. You see all these incredible people. But through Pacifica, we can surround them with a group of interesting and faithful people. Our faculty are second to none, who connect the work of their hands and the curiosity of their minds to the joyful renewal of all things. So that parents, graduates, as they leave our home, they will have tasted and experienced what is true and what is good and what is beautiful. And as they leave your homes, which 40 of them are going to do in 34 days, okay, maybe like 3 months, but it's coming. As they leave your homes, they're going to know what to look for, what to cultivate, what to celebrate, and what to defend. They will have tasted abundance, and we are so hopeful that they will seek to find it and replicate it in their own lives, throughout their lives, wherever God takes them. Now, speaking of graduates, 2 days ago, I experienced one of the most meaningful moments of my career. Most of you know Pacifica has acquired a new building, and we're in the process of transforming this building, this space, to transform people. At the end, I'll tell you a little bit about this. But my head prefect, Emma Hammond, shout out, she had the brilliant idea of getting the seniors together in this building. A building they'll never step foot in as a student. To remind us of the journey we've been on. To celebrate what God is doing in our school. And to share what is true and good about Pacifica. For more than an hour, our seniors shared words of encouragement and abundance and gratitude. And they wrote letters on our foundation, and they literally put their handprints on walls of which their DNA is throughout the Pacifica experience. And I got to share with them intimate details about our founding. Stories they've never heard about the miraculousness of our God and His mercy and His love. Not just now, but for the last 20 years. It was a reminder to us all of the faithfulness of God. Wherever you are, God is faithful. He is good. And I urge them to take what they've experienced here to go. Go. Make things new. Make them good. And then we dreamed of a day on the other side of heaven where we will gather once more, only this time seated at a rich banquet table. And the full presence of God will be there. And thousands of souls will be there also. Souls that were affected by this mission, this place. And we will begin to share our stories and begin to understand the internal impact that the founding of Pacifica had on the world. When everyone left, I spent some time reading their words. Of course I'm crying. I'm crying because 4 years ago we sat in Panera and Starbucks. And I knew we were promising things that we couldn't quite do. But I also knew we had an inspired vision for their lives. Pacifica is not a perfect place. It's not. But I promise you, we will imperfectly pursue our mission to give an abundant vision to young people for their entire lives. We have to do this because our founders have told us so. Dear Pacifica, don't change. Don't conform. Please do not become an average school. Keep pushing. Keep thinking hard. Keep challenging yourselves. Keep being sensitive. I'm good at that. It's painful and it's exhausting, and sometimes you just want to stop caring because it would be easier. But don't. For the love of God, please don't. Because then who will? Who, if not you, will be the refuge for the weary traveler? Who will be the hospital for the sick, the adventurer for the curious? It is through the tedious, often painful adherence to your mission statement that you save lives.
You saved mine. You trained me to walk through the valley of the shadow of death and to keep going, because there is always beauty, always reconciliation. There is a mountain for every valley. There is always a midwinter spring. But you have to keep going to make it to spring. The only way up is down, but up is paradise, so keep going. Keep caring even though this world is hard. Be an oasis of sentiment in a world overrun by cynicism. We need you, and thank you.
This evening, we celebrate the people, the beliefs, and the culture of Pacifica. Thank you for the critically important role that each of you play in this work, in the celebration that we are having this evening. Now, please enjoy the work of Mr. Hodson.